and community. When he's in your city, you won't miss a thing. Just text the number, let your phone ring, 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 ring. 949-292-905. That's 949-292-905. Events, connection, and opportunity. All in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. 949-292-905. That's 949-292-905.
Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun.
Good morning, Blaine. Thank you for waking up so early.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely. Good to see you, Nick. That's good to have you here today.
What's going on, Blaine? How are you? Listen,
I'm doing
anytime
well.
I
Hey.
can get anytime I can get out of the chaos that's in my house right now in the mornings, I'll take it.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
Our last minute filler, Nick Agakar. Thank you so
Yeah.
much as well. Let's get right to it, gentlemen. We got the amazing Blaine Bartlett, BlaineBartlett.com, and Nick Agakar helping everyone understand their financial future in a variety of different ways. Reach out to our friends. They're here to be of service and of value. We're going to bring Patrick on right away. Patrick McCullough is in the house. Good morning, Patrick. Welcome to episode 889 or so of Office Hours.
Very good. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here.
We're happy to have you, President at Hallmark Business Connections. And your founding story is quite, I think, indicative of how important gratitude is in the human experience and in business. Give me an idea of that founding story of Hallmark and how you created these substantial business connections.
Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you for the time. Hallmark was founded in 1910. The Hall brothers, who came from Nebraska to Kansas City at the time with just a couple of bags, some postcards at the time, and a few dreams about starting this business, founded what is now known as Hallmark Cards. So we've got about 116 years in what you would think of as the traditional Hallmark business. Hallmark Business Connections is the business products and services division of Hallmark, right? So we were founded about 31 years ago, 31 years total for Hallmark Business Connections. And to be honest with you, and I tell the story all the time, it wasn't our idea. Hallmark Business Connections was founded on the basis of what is now our clients coming to us and saying, hey, we would like to partner with Hallmark to build better products and services for, as an example, an insurance agent to be able to go out and build a better relationship with their customer, with their policyholder. And Hallmark, I think, finally got the hint and said, hey, that sounds like a business idea. And we were off to the races. And it's been 31 years of helping businesses build better relationships with their customers and their employees, and kind of trying to put those Hallmark moments, which we all know and love, into the business world.
Yeah,
So smart.
the Hallmark moment. I had not connected the dots here in one sense. The idea of embedding into a culture, a business culture, embedding gratitude as part of the ethos of the culture. I'd be very interested in how you go about doing that with your clients so that it doesn't come off as a checkbox sort of an exercise.
Well, and that is the kind of the magic of it, right? So there's an element of the manufacturing components of making, as an example, a greeting card, an ornament, right, or different types of products, of course. And there's an element of brand partnership, right? Hallmark being seen to be doing business with your company is going to help uplift the message. But the secret sauce, I think, is how we go to market and embed these products and services in businesses. So, as an example, a number of years ago, we launched a software platform that we call Care, ostensibly to help call centers primarily, or any kind of frontline associate who's interacting with customers on a regular basis, to give them a really easy way that they can, after they have an interaction with the customer, if they want to follow up, that they can send a personal message, a greeting card, etc., to that customer, just saying, hey, I want you to know that I'm thinking about you. And as you might imagine, these are situations where someone's calling in, so let's say to an electric utility, and saying, hey, my husband was on the account for our house for the electric bill, but he passed away. And so I need to change the name. That's incredibly, of course, difficult for the customer. And as a brand, we want to say we're sorry to hear that and we're thinking of you, of course. But the secret here is that Care software platform that I'm talking about is actually most beneficial, we think, for the employee. Right after you have that interaction with the customer, you're carrying that weight of, oh my gosh, I know that this thing is going on in their lives. I want to reach out. I want to do something to help them. And it gives them the ability to just for 30, 60 seconds, stop what they're doing, write out a very quick personal note, or use one of the personal notes, obviously, that Hallmark writes, kind of pre-drafts for them, and send it off. And it may seem small, but those little things, those little ways that we embed care into organizations make a tremendous difference, not just in CSAT, if you will, but in ESAT, right? Employee satisfaction of saying, it's so great that I can do this thing. I have this tool, this capability to not just say that we care for our customers, but to demonstrate it, and it makes them feel great.
So, Patrick, let me ask you, in the companies that you're working in, how are you measuring that success, right? You just talked about sort of CSAT and ESAT. Are we looking at engagement scores? Are we looking at promoter scores? What are we measuring to see if this is really working?
All of the above, right? So our clients, we work with a ton of Fortune 1000 companies across every vertical that you can think of. So the success metrics are tied to the industries that they work in. But think about, yes, ESAT and CSAT, of course. Think about if you're in the insurance space, we're looking at attrition rates, right, for policyholders, and we're trying to bring those down to retain as much policyholder premium as we can. If you're in the advisory space, you're trying to grow assets and grow the number of customer relationships and households that you have. It's also interesting things like in the healthcare space, specifically in Medicare Advantage, they're judged on a number of different customer service metrics by the government that dictates, in part, the kind of premiums that they get back from the government every single year for those policies that they have in force. And if they don't have a good customer service experience, or if that health insurance carrier that they have in that MA plan, if they're not doing a good job taking care of their customers, their premium revenue is going to come down from the government, right? So they're specifically looking at it to say, well, look, we need to make sure we keep our premium revenue up, which means our customers need to be happy. This is a tool that we can use with our members to say, we're going to surprise and delight you, so that when you think of your major healthcare insurance company that you work with, right? That when you think of them, you're not just thinking about billing relationships. You're not just thinking about that you're trying to get a certain type of service authorized. You're also thinking about, hey, they sent me a birthday card and they said that we care about you, and they gave me a phone number to say if I ever have any kinds of issues to call this number and we'll take care of you, right? You're trying to add one more thought and conversation into that analysis that the customer has, which can make a difference down the line. So our customers measure it in all sorts of ways. And as you can imagine, even though it is very much kind of a fluffy Hallmark moment, they care about the return on investment very much so, right? They have to justify it just like any marketing touch point, and they measure us pretty extensively.
To finish up, Patrick, in the idea of the three areas that I see Hallmark Business Solutions or Connections helping, which is anywhere you need acquisition, development, or retention. And those are quantifiably measured and utilized, I'm sure, which is, under the credibility, brand, and history of Hallmark, a lot easier for you than somebody else selling a similar type of connection. But I think one of the things that Hallmark, both on the consumer side and the business side, understand better than anyone is the small gesture. the great impact Blaine and I did a Napoleon Hill, as chairman of Napoleon Hill
That's
training
right.
yesterday, and we
Yeah.
talked about small actions creating big outcomes. And just recently, the small gesture philosophy that I've always had, the small action philosophy, turned into one of my biggest deals simply because when I went in and did an interview with the CEO of this multi-billion-dollar company, I took the time and talked to every cameraman, every producer, and before and after, thanking them. And when I left, they were like, that guy, he needs to be the keynote for our annual meeting. We want to take workshops from. It was one small gesture. And that's where I see these Hallmark connections taking on. Can we finish off with just a quick, maybe story about one of those, a real life story from Hallmark about how these small gestures can create lasting impact?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. And as you might imagine, we've got thousands of these stories that
Or
we've developed
millions?
over the years. Right. Yeah. But, there's one that I keep in mind all the time. It keeps coming back is important. There was a retail merchant for a large retailer here in the United States, 8,000, 9,000 stores, right? So a very large store base in the United States. And she said, I want to, as a merchant, I want to build a better relationship with my customers. And she came to Hallmark Business Connections, as you might mind, and said, hey, why don't I send a personalized thank you card to them? I'll include a specialized offer inside of it as a thank you. So that, when you put an offer in a Hallmark card, it becomes a gift, not a coupon, a gift, right? And that's a unique way that I can build my brand, right? Simple touch point. You wouldn't think necessarily anything of it, right? We've already talked about measurement, of course, as you might imagine. She's thinking about sales opportunities. But what happened from that outreach? She got hundreds of pieces of mail back from her customers saying, thank you so much for the note. I love shopping in your store. I love the assortment that you create. And now that you've written me this note, this makes all the world to me. I'm never going to shop at another store, right? And there's actually a couple folks that she began a pen pal relationship with, going back and forth, just trying to keep up things. And they would send her little gifts and like little mementos and things. And it's this incredible thing that, of course, as you might imagine, was excellent for the retailer, excellent for her as a merchant. But that story has lived on for years and years and years as this incredible example of, it's a simple thought, right? Why don't I just send a thank you card to my customers? And it's a very, admittedly, corporate marketing thought, right? I'm going to send a coupon out. But it became an incredible thing, not just from a business results perspective, of course, but also from a relationship touch perspective. And it kind of changed a lot of lives along the way. And you've got lots of stories that look just like that, and we tell it all the time to our customers. You never know what's going to happen when you send someone a Hallmark card, and it can really make a profound difference.
Yeah, the only mailbox that is not crowded these days is your actual mailbox,
Right.
which puts Hallmark in a very interesting position in, as I mentioned, acquisition, development, and retention in every internal and external relationship where you need to strengthen that connection. They've been doing it for over a century. Utilize the best, whether it's for personal or business. I will give you kudos. My wife cried before she read my personalized message, reading her Hallmark card for Mother's Day. So you still got it, and that meant more to me. So thanks for making us all look good out of Kansas City. We won't hold that against him. President at Hallmark Business Connections. Reach out to Patrick McCullough and make better business internally and externally. Thank you so much. Promise us you'll come back on our other shows.
I absolutely will. Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody.
Great
Patrick.
job.
Thanks, Patrick.
All right. Episode 889 or so. We're rocking and rolling. We just keep doing what we're doing consistently, persistently, in the pursuit of our best. And Alan is here. Alan Versteg is here out of South Africa. Oh, my goodness. Co-founder at Growth Matters. Welcome.
How you doing, David?
I'm doing great. Thank you
Oh,
for
great.
coming.
No worries.
Well, we are going to talk about my favorite topic in business, which is sales.
Yes.
And I love sales, and I think it's in every part of everyone, and whether they recognize it or not, the ability to articulate value to exceed what you're asking for is tremendous. But you see a lot of interference today in sales. In fact, you may even consider it to be a catastrophe. And so I was curious what your mindset was on the state of sales today.
Yeah, Dave, thanks for asking. I mean, my view of the state of sales today is we just love to get caught up in the distraction. And, we keep talking about let's go back to the basics. I'm not a fan of that comment. I believe there's foundational principles that will serve you in sales regardless of what's happening in the market. First principle is it's borderline negligent to deny your customers the value you can bring them. That sets your mindset, right? Understand that it's, if you're scared to do a proactive outbound call, that's because you don't trust the value you're bringing. Second one is selling won't help, but helping will sell, right? Be a service mindset. And then the last one, which is missed, when you do the research on salespeople, it's not about value-based selling. It's about values-led selling. Your empathy, your intent, your understanding. People buy your values. Then the rest is learned skill. And I think we get caught up in where can I find the shortcut? Where can I find the efficiency? Where can I find the reality? The reason I love sales and got out of engineering. How do I connect with someone and find a problem they're facing that maybe even they don't know they have, that I can give them a better outcome? And if I operate from that mindset, then I'm a sales professional, not a salesperson.
I love it.
What I like about what your background is, Alan, just based on the notes that our team has assembled and provided for us here, with an engineering background, you're very familiar with first cause, sorts
Yes.
of ideas. And the idea of cause and effect comes into play here in a very interesting way in terms of how you position the sales process. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because what I'm hearing embedded in your thinking there is, it's a mindset issue more than anything else. I mean, cause effect is from a metaphysical perspective, some of the things that we look at in terms of how reality is produced.
Yeah, Blaine, and I think the thing there is, I want to elevate one up, is when we understand what actually drives effective sales and salespeople. If you know Sarah McLeod's book, Selling with Noble Purpose, there's this thing. But as managers, we're hiding behind the mouse. We focus on the manager. We're hiding behind the mouse and data and KPIs and metrics. And we're forgetting, when we have a noble purpose, those things will happen. So what I see missing is we don't coach to that mindset, and we don't coach to the value we're driving for clients. We actually just mentor the KPIs. So if I was elevating out, how do you create a culture? Well, the leader's asking the wrong questions. Do you know enough about your client isn't the same as what specifically in the client's world is going to change as a result of working with us. And it's that coaching skill that's faded pretty much since good old David Siebel invented CRM, where we just now have more data than we can interpret. Now we can interpret with AI. Now we think we're intelligent. We're forgetting we have to coach human beings to success. The job of a sales leader, is not to grow sales. It's to grow salespeople that grow sales. And that growth is, David started with, get the values right and then have conviction on your value propositions. You get those two things right, and the other things are skills we learn by doing.
So, Alan, let me ask you. Alan, this is so great, and David and I work on a lot of things. That's often analyzing deals and companies that are coming in. They give us a lot of projections, and I always have this concern because there is this level of urgency from salespeople, first line salespeople, of just putting things in the CRM. Just put it in, right? Put it in the pipeline. Yeah, it's going to close, right? How do you get sales leaders to sort of move away from their teams just focused on what's in the CRM? Is the CRM updated? What does the pipeline look like? Because the projections often become funny numbers, right? Because salespeople are just entering in things into the CRM to make their managers happy. And then the managers report out these projections that are ridiculous. How do you sort of get into that culture, right? And solve that issue?
Yeah, Nick, if I may share two responses there. The first one is we have a incorrect view of healthy pipelines. We say that a healthy pipeline is value cover, or 3 times cover. The problem with that is that promotes putting everything in the CRM, and it promotes not sanitizing your CRM, right? It should be volume, velocity, value, and shape. Do I have enough cover, financial? Do I have enough deals, protection, contingency? Is it moving, velocity? I'm actually doing my job. I'm building deals over time. And is it the right shape? I'm protected for this quarter and the quarter that's coming. Most managers are just interrogating in-quarter deals. They're not coaching Q-1 deals. So that's that behavior. What I do with managers, I draw a framework because I'm an engineer, and it's called R equals SNAP, results to the outcome of SNAP. And I start with this, and I'm saying, if you look at this, most organizations try to increase N, which is quantity. Let's just do more, okay? But if you're a fisherman fishing in the wrong pond at the wrong time with the wrong bait, I don't care how many times you throw those rods in the water, you're catching nothing. That's quantity. S is quality, skill. Are we developing, coaching, and improving the skills of our people? A big one, allocation of effort. Are we pointing our people in the right direction? Or are we just going, put more in the CRM, put more activity, let's go destroy our brand? I mean, I'll say it my way. I say to companies, okay, so you're a salesperson, they're getting 50% of the number, they're seeing 10 clients, they get 2 visits. So you're saying, go see 20 clients, you get 4 visits. So what you're saying is you suck 80% of the time, go suck in front of more clients and destroy our brand. Like, you got to fix the skill. Allocation of effort, point me in the right direction. So let me fish where the fish are. Process, let me fish in the right season. So quantity, quality, effectiveness, and efficiency are the metrics. As a business, that has exponential benefit. Slightly better in my skill, right balance of numbers, right allocation of it, right process. Then they said to me, no, I'll get you. So I said, no, you don't get me. I want you to pull your CRM data, tell me who your most active rep is. I said, now correlate your top 5 most active reps to your top 5 reps. There's never a correlation. No activity is going to get you nothing, don't get me wrong. And that's kind of where the penny starts to drop from. We're driving data inputting. We're not driving. Anyway, that's kind of what I see, Nick, is those are the 2 things. You're looking at your pipeline very myopically. It's kind of like looking at your health being the number on the scale, right? Your blood pressure is first, your sugar levels are there. And there's a lot of things that are not just the scale. Thank goodness, because my scale doesn't like me.
Well, growth matters even there, and growing those that can grow is key in understanding empowerment with that desire that they must be what they can be. Alan Verstig is empowering people to grow, and that's the growth that matters. Grow people, and your sales will grow, and so will so many other things in your business and in your life. Fastest way to get to where you want to be is find someone that's already there, like Alan Verstig, and help somebody else get to where they want to be with the skills, the knowledge, and the desire. Alan, thank you so much for joining us. Please reach out to Growth Matters, co-founder of Growth Matters, Alan Verstig, here on episode 889 of Office Hours. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, team. Thank you, David.
You got it, man.
you,
Keep
Alan.
up the great work. That boy knows his shit. That's for
Boy,
sure.
he sure does. That was a master class right there.
Masterclass. Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. And I appreciate that. Anyone that can articulate and empower people in sales. You'll never starve if you can sell. That's what I was told when I was young, and it seems to be true. All right, well, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I just came from the Atlantis in the Bahamas, and my friend here is also from Atlanta, Georgia. Ronnie Corinne is here, keynote speaker, author, executive coach at Ronnie Corinne, the game changer himself. Welcome, Ronnie.
Hey, David, great to see you. And it's Rennie. I know in the South.
It is Rennie. That just shows you, I tell everyone I wish everything worked like my eyes, and now I'm really contemplating whether I should say that anymore.
I get Ronnie, I get Renee, I get all.
Yeah, well, I should know better. I mean, I watched you play, so it's okay. I know a lot of football players, and as a linebacker turned keynote speaker, you have a different mindset. And I remember interviewing Ray Lewis and telling him, "Hey, man, I go, you may not be the fastest, the strongest, and I apologize, but even the smartest, but you may be the best linebacker ever to play. Why is that?" And he grabbed my knee. I got to admit, I may have wet myself a little bit. And he leaned into me and he said, "Because Dave, when I stepped on the field, I was willing to die." And you know, Ray, he's serious. And there's a different mindset. And I know your job as a coach is to bring the best out of your players now, today.
Oh, yeah.
And you've learned how to do that from playing at the highest level. And that's how you become a game changer. You now, beyond speaking and your coaching services, you have a sports tech app that's launching to help make it a little bit easier to facilitate bringing the best out of people. Give me a little bit of idea about this new app that you're launching.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So the app is called Former, FORMR. And basically, I want Former to be that LinkedIn for the college sports world, or for former collegiate athletes, fans, and businesses, all to be able to come together. Right now, there's no platform that connects us all in terms of the ecosystem. We all know each other, right? I know Ray, he was one of my mentors, even though we didn't play together. I know his trainers, all types of people. And this is not just football. This is all sports. We're connected, but disconnected at the same time. And then you look at things like NIL. Everybody's talking about NIL, but nobody really has an answer when it comes to post-career NIL. So once you take that jersey off, your value diminishes greatly. companies that want to hire athletes. I hear from them all the time when I go to speak. They're like, "Hey, one of our biggest issues is recruiting, and we love to hire athletes, but there's no place to go and be able to achieve that." So not only do I want to create a community where I can connect with the Ray Lewis or any athlete, right? Boxers, golfers, but also a marketplace where I can stay connected to the fans, connect with businesses long after my career, and really build NIL for life. So that's one of the biggest goals with Former.
One of the things about high level performance that has always struck me is the identity that's embedded in the individual that is doing this, and it sets apart a true professional from an amateur. There's that identity question. The skill set may be, they know how to swing the club,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. In the work that you do, Rennie, how do you actually work with what you call identity transition? And I'm
Yeah.
thinking here of the college athlete in particular, or a pro that is retiring, because there's an identity shift that needs to occur there if they're going to be successful.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I do with an athlete or an executive, because we're all in transition, right? This is a universal experience that happens for everybody, not just athletes. The
Right.
biggest thing is I change that word of transition to integration. So how do you take what you just did, all the years of experience, the relationships, the knowledge, how do you take that and you apply it to where you're going? And that way you don't look at transition as a big loss and it's devastating, but it's more exciting when you see it as integration, because now I have all these resources, these skills, these things that I've done that all I have to do is move it over here and maybe give it a new language, right? So I'll give you a perfect example. In the sports world, we have something like where we're sitting in the film room, we're studying these statistics, and we're preparing to play an offense. In the business world, that's business intelligence, that's statistics. These are real things that apply that can help you elevate. But if you don't realize that this is valuable over here, you're going to feel like you've lost. And so I really first start by empowering that athlete or that executive to help them to realize the value that they have, so that when they're moving over into this new space of life, they don't have that imposter syndrome. They're not thinking that I'm less than, that I have to go out here and prove myself or fake it till you make it, but realizing, man, you have what it takes. Like you said, you're wired. You just need to be fine-tuned and understand how your skills over here apply over here. So that's one of the biggest things that I do.
Rennie, that's so amazing. And I think what comes next, though, is I think everyone on this call has made a transition, right? And they come up with these plans, right? Hey, you know what? I have these other skills. Let me transfer them, right? But then it doesn't work, right? It does, there's failures along the way, of course. How
Yep.
do you teach resiliency? How do you teach people to be like, okay, you know what? That's okay, but we learned a lot, so we can continue on. How do you keep going?
Yeah, I really believe it starts with priming the mind, right? And really changing the narrative. Because one of the toughest things when you're trying to build resilience is when you have a narrative in your mind that keeps you from having that resilience. So, for example, if I'm telling myself that as an athlete, you see it happen all the time with athletes, like we're so down and defeated because we don't realize like the fact that when we started out in football, we started in Little League. We didn't start out in the pros. That's about priming your mind. I always tell them, hey, you got to go back to Little League. You're just in Little League in business, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get back to the pros.
Right.
So when you tell yourself the right narrative, the right story, that, man, if I just apply the same skills, the same resources, the same effort, coachability to this, I'm going to be successful. It allows you to have that growth mindset, which ultimately leads to more resilience. So that's one of the ways is I try to really help them reframe just their entire situation, tell themselves a new narrative, and then set goals from there. And then, like David said before, you find somebody too who already is 10 steps, 20 steps ahead. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Find that right blueprint and apply that as well.
So good, Denny. You're one of the few people out there. I do incorporate integration. I call it expansion. I work with so many athletes that I would tell, let's just expand your skills, your knowledge, and your desire into whatever you're new. And one of the other aspects, because you're a great executive coach as well, is I'm always, amazed, some of these exceptional athletes even, that they don't see how their devotion, their disciplined behavior in the divine direction, their consistent, persistent behavior, their resilience that they used since they were 5 years old is somehow going to leave them when they enter the business world. And then two, the most amazing one is I'll get resistance from an athlete sometimes. Dave, I really don't need a coach. And I'm like, oh, I said, so when you started boxing, when you started playing golf, when you started playing football, when did you not have a coach through being a Hall of Famer? What year did you stop having a coach when you were playing?
Right.
Well, never. Oh, okay. And so you're going to start on this team. You're just going to step onto my team in my league that I've been doing since I was 5 years old. Now, I got to tell you, Denny, I was a below average college football player, and my friend Blaine was gymnast at Oregon. So we're exceptional athletes, but we've been doing business since we were 5, and I need a coach. Blaine is my coach.
Exactly.
I've made literally close to $1 billion gross in my lifetime now, and I have Blaine as my coach for a good reason. Why do you think, as we finish up the show, these guys, they don't see the skills and the knowledge they have, but more importantly, why do they resist having a coach when they're the most coachable?
Really, man, it's a couple things, and I even have had to unlearn and learn new things as I've gone through my transition, because it's so subliminal that many times you don't even realize it's happening. Your mind is a very tricky thing, and so one of the biggest things is when you take that jersey off. Like I said, a lot of your identity leaves with it, so you forget many of the things that got you to where you are because you're in survival mode. And you know this, when you're in survival mode, you're not thinking logically. And so it's not only that we forget that we need a coach, we also forget that we've always been on a team. We've never ever been solo, but now we're isolated. We're in a situation where we're out of the locker room, we're not around in that same structure. So if you don't recreate those same environments, your mind just all of a sudden loses track of like everything, like all that structure that was there, that helped you to get to where you are. The second biggest thing we don't realize about athletes is high performers, because we've been in situations when you get to the top, you know everything. And not knowing something causes it's a real issue. If I'm in the film room and I don't know an answer, I'm getting freaking cussed out by a coach. I may lose I may get sent home. And so the biggest fear when we transition, and I don't know, I think most guys don't even realize this, but when we transition, not knowing is fearful. So we have to pretend like we know everything.
Yeah.
We get into this new phase, and we have to unlearn that and learn that it's okay not to know. It's okay to start over. Nobody's gonna yell at you. Nobody's gonna cut you. It's like that. Yeah. So that's one of the biggest issues that I think a lot of athletes face, that they don't even know they're facing, is that fear of starting over, because not knowing really means it's negative, it's bad. And so many of us, we need therapy and we don't even know it, to unlearn a lot of those things that are subconscious. Yeah.
That's awesome. You're humble you're about to be, and it takes great coaches, teachers, and an amazing keynote speaker like Rennie Corinne. Check him out. Go to renniecorinne.com, and he'll be there. And he has his upcoming Sport Tech app. It'll be available in both iOS and Android, I assume.
Yes, sir. Right now I'm doing early signups. It's on former FORMR app.com. So you guys can go there, check it out, man. It has a layout of everything, man. Appreciate you so much, David.
Appreciate you. We'll be sending more people your way. Sorry I missed you last night. So we'll be. I'm doing a meetup here today in Atlanta. I'm over at Avalon doing a cannonball event. So Jesse Itzler, myself, we'd love to see you. We'll talk to you soon, though. We'll have you back.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Rennie.
Thanks, Rennie. Awesome. All right, boys. It's my favorite time of the day. We talked about a masterclass, and we certainly had 3 experts in their own class in mastering different arts. Nick, I'm going to let you go first since you're the rookie in the room. What's your takeaway of the day?
Yeah, listen, I'm reminded of Hermes Trismegistus. All is mind. It's all mindset. Like I think we heard that from everyone today, whether it's in sales, transition, customer success, and really that touch that you put on people. It's all in your mind, and it's all about that mindset. I loved it today.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with gratitude. It's just kind of the anchor pin. Whether it's something as simple as a card, or whether I'm building it into my sales process, I've got to be grateful for how everything is working and paying attention to the right things. And also just in terms of the skill set that I've developed as a human being through my life, how do I transfer that? I've got to be grateful for it. So gratitude just kind of runs the gamut of just about everything that we do. And I'll just kind of land on that. And one thing that I want to just kind of a sidebar on this, David, I just got notification that you and I both, our podcasts, your Playbook podcast and my Solo Business podcast, have been named as the 100 top business leadership podcasts in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
So
send me that. Congratulations, Blaine. That's amazing.
Congratulations to you too. I'm very grateful.
We do enough episodes. We're on episode 2600 in some of the Playbook, 889 of Office Hours. I was going to go with my takeaway is growth matters, growing the people to grow what matters, growing the people to grow what matters. But I shifted a little bit to that word integration because I deal with it all the time. Take inventory of your skills, your knowledge, and desire, and integrate it into what's doing well, what's stable, and you think is doing well in the future. So I'm cheating a little bit on episode 889 or so. I'm doing 2 takeaways. Grow people to grow what matters, and integrate your skills, your knowledge, and your desire, align with what's doing well, what's stable, and what you think is want to do well. We got one of the top podcasters in the world in business and leadership. His name's Blaine Bartlett. He's my mentor, coach, and teacher. BlaineBartlett.com, bringing those possibilities to reality. And of course, one of my business partners, friends, and associates, showing up at a minute's notice, Blaine, when Rhett unbelievably out of nowhere said, "Oh, I'm going to be on a red eye." At 3:30 a.m.
Yeah,
At 3:30 a.m. he decides to tell me. So I really appreciate you, Nick. You are filling the monster shoes of Rhett Power. So thanks for joining us.
You are very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Nick, great having you on the show.
We'll see you soon, guys. I'll see you. Oh, see Blaine in Las Vegas. I'll start there. We are doing season 10 of Office Hours. Blaine's been there since season 1, and he's an OG on Office Hours Digital as well. Top podcaster, Blaine Bartlett, Nick Agakar. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. All right, real quickly, I got to go down and speak. I am in Atlanta at the Avalon, the Cannonball event. Come to our meetup at noon today. I'll be in Chicago, keynoting the restaurant show. Interviews, holding courts, VIP dinners for charity. Vegas, I mentioned Office Hours, the whole gambit, the car wash. Come and join us. Austin, Texas, Aspire Business Tour, and then Tim Story and I. Jesse Hitzer will be there today too. Congratulations to Sarah Blakely. Hall of Fame of Innovators with Thomas Edison. That's not so bad. Newport Beach, California with Tim Story. If you want to be informed and invited to over 200 different things we're doing in a year, it's texting. We will inform you and invite you at 949 area code 298, next 3 numbers, last 4 numbers 2905. 949-298-2905. Remember, most importantly, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Hit it, Gigi.
Wanna know where David's gonna be? Get invites, updates, and community. When he's in your city, you won't miss a thing. Just text the number, let your phone ring, 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 ring. 949-298-2905. That's 949-298-2905. Events, connection, and opportunity, all in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. 949-298-2905. That's 949-298-2905.
Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun.